Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing's World Series for round 12 at the Hockenheim circuit on F1 2016 on PlayStation 4. We'll be sending the drivers over to the track very soon, but before we do, we're going to have a run through of the drivers, the last race result and the current standings. But while I do a couple of quick little jobs, I'm going to hand over to my co-commentators TempFear and Arazor21, who I know is definitely doing a rain dance for this one.
Well, we had enough rain yesterday, so, might not need to, but how are you, Razor?
I am fine. How are you, Temp?
I'm alright. You still happy to be called Anthony David's sister?
Sure, yeah, it's a great name. No problems with that.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you've been getting involved in them with him, huh? Bit of a... Is it secretive or is it out there?
I think you've lost him with that one.
Doesn't take a lot. Let's talk about tonight then. What are your feelings? What are your predictions? Are you going to curse? Come on, there's always going to be someone.
It's gonna rain, and rain. It rained last night, yesterday, but it's still gonna rain today. Sorry, drivers, and it's gonna be interesting race, I hope.
Who's your money on? Well, you haven't answered that one yet.
I don't want to put money on anyone just yet.
Doesn't want to curse anybody just yet. Okay, in a few moments we'll go through I'll go through the drivers and teams, and then we'll go through the last race result and the current standings. We are just waiting, I think, for one or two more drivers, so it will be a moment before we send the drivers over to the circuit. Okay, petrol pumpers Mercedes, Hindle, he's back in his car for this event, teaming up with Conzo 1993 once again. Championship fight definitely on between those two. Old crash test dummies, Ferrari, Jason and Dave the Harp. Jason had an interesting run as a reserve driver in the World Championship last night. Good practice for today. Censored Williams Racing got Kane Ianda and Bleeding Sunrise, who also had a reserve drive last night, so he's had plenty of practice. In the New Age Outlaws Red Bull, we've got Rickster A1295. I believe MX Everglow is in the lobby as well. He just hasn't picked his car yet. In the Sahara Force India, or should I say the Hey Ho Double Toe Force India, we have Farfber and RDB. And in the Wrong Tyres Renault, we have Valdemar and SBL Mali Kekec, both of which had very interesting races last time out in Hungary. In the Prancing Rosso, Toro Rosso, we've got Milstar and Ant69. They're on for another battle between themselves today. And in the Mental Age of 10 McLaren, we have Front Row Racing GP and reserve driver Calzo 210, who won the last World Series race. So let's see how he gets on here today. In the Yank and Limey Manor, we've got the Limey, we haven't got the Yank. Mystic Joker not with us this evening, which is a bit of a shame, takes away a bit of the battle. Lefty Hardtail is taking his seat though. Mystic Joker has missed a couple of races now, so Lefty Hardtail may have to start thinking about selecting a new teammate. And as the admins pick rookie driver in the Haas, we have Caribbean Crush. So a few drivers that are definitely there to potentially give us one hell of a battle for this event tonight at the Hockenheim Ring in Germany. Okay, and quickly, let's see, send the drivers over to the circuit. As long as Temp, you've been able to lock the lobby. Okay, let's send the drivers over to the circuit then. I'll quickly run through the last race result, round 11 from Hungary that was raced 2 weeks ago. Petrol Pumpers Mercedes reserve driver Calzo 210, as I mentioned, took the victory there, and another reserve driver for Censored Williams actually finished in second place, and that was Mr. Loki, who did make a mistake at the end of the race, lifted off and celebrated the win, but hadn't got to the finish line yet and realised a little too late as Calzo snuck through to take the win. Conzo finished in third place, with Mental Age of 10 McLaren reserve driver Caribbean Crush finishing fourth. Front Row Racing GP finished in fifth, with Dave the Harp sixth, Rickster seventh, Jason in eighth, Milstar in ninth, Farfba in 10th. He overtook his teammate RDB on the last lap to make him finish in 11th place, and the New Age Outlaws Red Bull reserve driver finished in 12th. Bleeding Sunrise finished in 13th, with SBL Mali Kekech 14th and 69 15th. Unfortunately, the admins picked rookie on the day. Gonk was disqualified for a problem with his footage, and Valdemar finished in 17th. He was the last of the starters. He finished in 17th, but it was via a DNF. Tyres for today's event: super softs, softs and mediums. But we're going to hand over to TempFear to run us through the Drivers' Championship standings. That is until it starts raining and we hear Arazor start jumping with joy.
Yeah, you say that. I heard you on the live stream last night. Steve was, I think it was Steve mid-conversation. You just didn't care.
It was James. It was James. We're allowed to interrupt James.
But he just claims all the stuff that you say. Like, James, watch this battle. And then you're like, oh yeah, Sansa's battling. Hang on, I have to cut it here. Sorry, we've got Sansa. Sansa battling. I
like to make it difficult for him. Anyway, Anders, come on, get on with it.
Doesn't matter, does it? No. Well, Conzo took the leader standings with his teammate not participating in the last race. He's got a nice 12-point lead over him, 167 points for his teammate on 155. Dave isn't screaming because it's not raining. And I've almost got out of the track. Let's not do that. Is that the rain for the race?
No comment. It wasn't me that made the noise, though.
It is, though.
We'll get on to that in a minute. Well, carry on with the standings.
In third is Mystic Joker, 120 points, but like I say, he hasn't turned up for a few races, so don't know if he's going to stay there. In fourth is his teammate, Ledley Hardtail, on 78. Fifth is Arazor's best mate and lover, Jason, on 66 points. Sixth, Front Row Racing GP. Seventh, Rickster. Eighth is Ant, 69 and 35 points, having quite a solid season for him so far. Ninth is the Admin Sweet Wolfie car, 31 points. Quite surprised when you think someone got 25 points for that car in China. 10th is Farfbat on 23 points. 11th Mill Stars, 12th Dave the Heart, 13th for IDB. And then we have 14th is Bleeding Sunrise on 12, with Kane Leander in 5th. Oh, no, not in 5th. He wishes he was. In 15th on 5 points. DSC man on 16th on 3 points, but we don't know if he's going to be turning up to any more races. The two new permanent drivers in the Renaults are SBL, Manikakek and Kekech, and Valdemar in 17th, along with Mr. MX Everglow, all on 0 points. Now I got that one done on some instructors. Mercedes lead the way with 347 points, pulling quite a large gap now over Yenko and Lamy Manor in second with 198 points, so about 149 point lead. It's instructors is going their way quite soon. So far anyway. Third we have the Sensitive Williams on 118, fourth Mental Age 10 McLaren 104, fifth Old Crash Test Dummies Ferrari, sixth is Wrong Tires Renault on 78 points due to the two previous drivers getting on those points. Seventh is $1 Million Herbie Toro Rosso on 57 points, eighth New Age Outlaws Red Bull 44, 9th, Heyo Double Tail Force India 37, and last but not least is the Ecuador rookie Marabobo Pass. And now you can talk about the rain. Okay,
yeah, Tony, tell us about the rain.
We can maybe actually see rain in a World Series race. It's gonna be tough if it's gonna drop in time, but I hope it will and mix things up.
Well, looking at when the rain could fall, it's towards the end of the race, which brings in a very, very interesting set of parameters. In the World Championship race yesterday, we were expecting rain about 15-20 minutes into the race. Drivers popped on medium tyres expecting to go long. The rain came on lap 4. Which left a lot of drivers thinking, I should have gone for soft tyres or super soft tyres. But in this situation, if the rain's coming at the end, and if the rain does come, the mandatory tyre rule goes out of the window. So, do drivers now have to sit there and think, let's go super soft, super soft?
it's hard to tell from this, like, the weather report we have here, because we don't know exactly when it's going to come. It could literally come on the last lap, or it could come not long after 20 minutes. We really don't know. So I think we'll have to wait and see till the race, where we get a bit more of a clearer picture of what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think a lot of drivers may prefer to qualify on the soft compound tyre as Milstar crosses the line and puts himself into second place. And let's see, Konzo, he's out on track on the super soft tyre, although he's slower in Sector 1 than Milstar was on the soft tyre. Let's see, decent Sector 1s that we're looking for. 16.3 Sector 1 would be very good. Sector 2, 35.1. Sector 3, a 23.1. Gets you around about the 114s. We have got a couple of drivers saying that they're easily into the 113s, but we'll have to wait and see if that's going to come to fruition. Konzo here, 16.9 Sector 1, a 35.2 Sector 2, so that's a good Sector 2 time, although you may have expected to go a little bit quicker on at the super soft tyre. Let's see how he gets on in this final sector. All about grip, traction and carrying speed through these final two corners, and he's not carried the speed because he's abandoned the lap and popped it into the pits.
Doesn't surprise me. I still think people are going to say it.
Oh, SBL Mali Kekec is, he's entered the pits now in qualifying. There are no pit entry rules, but if he does that in the race, he could find himself being reported by another driver for a late pit entry and getting himself a penalty. You've got to make sure that you enter the pits and exit the pits correctly, which is this season one of the front wheels has to be within the white pit lane line. If both of them are over, then it's an illegal pit entry. But also something I'm not sure some of the drivers may have not been aware of in yesterday's World Championship race, that the exit curb of Turn 1 here has been given as lenient by the stewards, which means drivers can use the exit curb at Turn 1. And if they get an in-game penalty for it, if they do an ETL lift in the relevant place, they can appeal the penalty. In qualifying though, they may not get a choice on the matter, because if it invalidates the lap straight away, there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. Valdemar, he was the first person I actually rode on board with, and he abandoned his first lap, but he's done a Sector 1 time of 16.609 and a 36.3 Sector 2. I'm quickly going to mention his and his teammates' pre-race comments. They made their permanent debut last time out in Hungary. For Valdemar, as he goes into the pits, I asked him, I said, after your last event where you didn't finish, have you got over it and will it affect this race? He said, unfortunately, the last race was a nightmare, especially since he felt that he could have won. So it will not affect his race tonight though. Normally he doesn't have a lot of pace around Germany, but he will try his best to match his teammate here. And it's his teammate SBL Mali Kekec as Rickster's about to cross the line with a 1:16.296. See if SBL Mali Kekec is heading back out. No, he isn't. Let's see, Caribbean Crush is about to start a flying lap though, so I'll pop the camera on him. SBL Mali Kekec in the wrong tyres, Renault. He's one of the drivers that should be looking at 13s in his lap times, if anything he says is to be believed. Let's see, I asked if he'd got any issues with setting up his car for this race, and he said no issues in setting up the car, but there are still issues with Turn 1 that can make or break your lap. So it could all be down to what happens at Turn 1 for him. Caribbean Crush though, he's done a 16.4 Sector 1 time, and Temp in a moment. I'll come to you for Caribbean Crush's pre-race comments. Just want to see what his Sector 2 time is going to be as he approaches the Mercedes curve. Taking quite a bit of curb there, mate, just about got away with that, but he'll be looking for as fast as possible Sector 2 time as the car ahead gets out of the way into the corner I like to call the Schumacher curve, and it's a 35.1. So Temp, Caribbean Crushers pre-race comments, if you will.
I'm trying to find them. Your best mate from the racing GP, like some foreign comments, is on those inters, which we could see later on in the race. But Caribbean Crush, I'm going to repeat. He said, you asked him, surely you're going to rain for the race, could this work to his advantage? He answered with, the rain probably will work to advantage based on previous performances. Very short and sweet. Nice knowing, mate. Maybe a bit next time. Maybe not a page like what I said about it.
Maybe. Okay, Konzo, he's on a flying lap on the super soft tyre. And in a moment, Temp, I'll come to you for Hindle's pre-race comments. I'll quickly mention Konzo's. Konzo had an interesting event in Hungary as he's done a 16.5 Sector 1. Where his little brother as a reserve driver was able to take the victory and Konzo only finished first. So I said to him, you were unable to beat your teammate last time out, but it wasn't Hindle. So is it crucial to beat him today? To which Konzo has said, I would say it's crucial not to lose too many points today. If he finishes second and Ryan finishes first, then so be it. It's feeling good around here. Anything other than a podium, though, is a disaster. For his teammate, though, Temp, a slightly different perspective, maybe.
Do you not want to introduce Konzo being very polite there? He did say hi there as well.
He did, yes, but I was just shortening it for simplicity.
Shortening it? Well, this one's very short. Question is longer than the answer. We asked him all your reserve last time out with exactly what he needed into, being Calzo, winning the race, and he continued the winning trend, and very, again, short and sweet answer we got was, that's the plan, but everything won't be easy around here.
That is true.
What time was Konzo set?
Well, Konzo
15 on those super softs.
Yeah, put himself on provisional pole position. Bleeding Sunrise is about to start a flying lap, though, and Hindle hasn't set a lap yet, so that's definitely going to be someone to keep an eye on. Tony's wondering if you've got any info or you're keeping an eye on anyone in particular out on track at the moment.
Jason.
Yes, I was watching Jason.
Well, seeing as you've mentioned Jason, let's see what Bleeding Sunrise making a bit of a mistake. It's a 17.2 Sector 1. Let's see, is Jason out on track? Yes, he is. Let's go and watch Jason. He's done a 16.8 Sector 1. And I did have a nice little chat to Jason earlier on today. I said, there's rumours in the paddock that your biggest fan, he wears Jason underwear, has brought a secret upgrade for your car for this weekend. Any confirmation on this? To which Jason said, hi there are many rumours in the paddock. You should not believe everything you hear. Are you sure they're even my underwear he wears? What colour are they? Considering my pace from yesterday's race, it doesn't look so good for me here, with or without any upgrades.
Oh, he's just so good upgrade.
Well, he's going to put himself in 9th place with that latest lap time. Sector 2 may be hurting him a little bit there. But these soft tyres, Temp, I mean, are they going to be the type of tyre that improve on a second or third lap?
I wouldn't say a third. You potentially can get a second lap out of them, but they may start to die on you towards the end of that second lap. But you can do a second lap.
Okay, just keeping an eye on SBL Malikekech, who's just started a flying lap. He's currently sitting in second place. So let's see what this Sector 1 time is going to be. It's a 16.2. DRS will be wide open now. Got a car ahead of him, but they're going to be staying well out of the way. It's one of the Williams, so that could be Bleeding Sunrise. It could be Kane Oyanda. Hard on the brakes into the hairpin and get ready to plant that throttle on the exit. Doesn't sound like it's picking up very quickly, which could be a sign that he's got traction control on the car. And in a moment I am going to get on to question of the day, which I've been moaned at by my co-commentators for having, and then when I suggested, well, go and find me a new one, TempFear spent 10 minutes talking to his phone. I'll tell you what, Malikekech, he's done a 34.9 Sector 2. I think this may be able to be about to steal provisional pole position as he makes his way through the stadium section now. Only a couple more corners to go. Has he got it hooked up through here? Yes, he has. How's the apex? Nicely apexed. Oh, a little wiggly on the exit, but across the line he goes, and it's a 14.2. But that's provisional pole position.
We had Konzo just trying to fix on a set of softs, left and hardtail just 1 second, I think. Don't get me on that. And we had, we have another car. I was watching what they got.
Well, Voldemar's just gone and put himself in second. Lefty Hardtail's put himself third. Konzo's now down to fourth. Millstar is in fifth, I believe. Rickster's in. Is Caribbean Crush on a lap, is he?
He just finished his lap by himself fifth, 16.4, second 1, 35.3, second 2, and 23.5, second
Okay, well, Rickster, he's on a lap on the super soft tyre, and quite a few guys, there's definitely some mixtures of strategy here. And when it comes to tyre selections, we've got 4 drivers that have chosen a balanced set of tyres, 10 have gone for the hardest sets of tyres, and 5 have kept it a little bit secret. So definitely plenty of strategy available to the drivers, but in a completely dry race this would be potentially a 1-stop or a 2-stop, or as Rickster has a problem, runs a little bit wide there, and problems are something that plagued him in Hungary. When I was talking to him earlier today, I mentioned the technical problems he had in qualifying last time out hurt his race. So I said, without any issues today, how do you think you can do? He said he hasn't done any practice whatsoever, so he's not expecting great things. Qualifying was so annoying last time out, but the race was even more so, as he puts himself now 8th place. He said he just wants to get a good result today.
While you was mentioning those pre-race cars, I got to Conzo just trying to start his lap, got wide out of the final corner onto the grass, and he really had to abandon this first one. But his teammate also
Yes, he's starting, and there's 3.5 minutes remaining, so if he messes things up, like cutting a corner, it will get tense to even set the lap time for him.
Yeah, well, he's in a situation where he kind of needs to get a time on the board. He's done a 16.2 Sector 1. He's got to get a time on the board. I mean, he's going to have enough time for another lap after this. But like you say, Tony, if he makes one mistake that compromises his lap, if he finds himself outside the top 10, he could be in a problematic situation. Although we know he's got the pace to potentially work his way through, even from the back of the grid to near the front. So we'll see how he gets on through Mercedes. Not too bad through there. I think he may be taking a little bit too much curb on some of these corners, but that sounded like an ETL lift to me. And for anyone that doesn't know what they are, if you watch some of the drivers' footage, I'm sure you'll spot them. So into the final section, Hindle goes then, a 35.5 Sector 2. It's not the quickest, but with an ETL lift, it wouldn't be. Let's see how he gets on through the final couple of corners. Nicely apexed, no real twitching on the exit. It's going to be about 3rd, I reckon. No, it's 4th. He's backed out of it. He can go for another lap if he wants. He may be able to go for a slow lap and then fire it up again.
Fonzo's just started a lap, but he's only done a 16.6 in Sector 1, and it did look very nice, clean and tidy, but a bit down on what he probably want.
Well, Conzo's probably in a situation at the moment where he's kind of got to focus on what his teammate's doing, but also not focus on what his teammate's doing. I'm keeping an eye on what his brother's doing at the moment, because Calzo 210, sitting in the McLaren, started a flying lap on the soft compound tyre. Let's see how he gets on through Sector 1. If it's anything 16.2 or near, it could be good. It's a 16.5, but he's currently sitting in 19th place, so he too needs to get a lap on the board. Now, I haven't got any pre-race comments for Calzo, with him being he was a standby reserve driver. Was expecting DSC man, but he's not been able to make it. But in a moment, Temp, I'll come to you for a Racing GP's pre-race comments, who you said was on intermediate tyres a little earlier. Is he still on intermediate tyres?
I don't think he shouldn't be now, I hope not. Okay, he is. Why is he still on them? He pitted as well. Like, that's like the same set of intermediate tyres or a brand new set.
Well, if it's a brand new set, let's hope he's got some if he needs them for later on in the race. Sector 2 from Calzo, pretty good, a 35.2. Let's see how he gets on. He may be able to pop, if he can have a good final sector here, he may be able to get himself into the top 6. As Conzo's session is over, he's retired. That's him done for this qualifying session. Calzo goes 6th. I wasn't too far off with that prediction. Okay, SBL.
I've already looked at these comments.
SBL Malikekech is on another flying lap. He's only done a 16.3 Sector 1 though, but a 34.8 Sector 2. Coming around the final corner now, we'll just about be able to see him over the line. Is he going to be able to improve on his lap time? He's still in the 14s. It's a 1:14.0. Valdemar's session is over. Lefty Hardtail, who's sitting in 3rd place. Super soft tyre. 16.4, 35.2. Don't think he's going to improve. 14.6. I think it's still 3rd place for him. Calzo maybe on another fly-in lap. Let's see, Caribbean Crush, he's coming to the end of the lap. Currently sitting in 8th place, and my screen's just gone black.
Caribbean's coming into the pits. GP's out on 7 Inters and John and Calzo. I don't think so on that. So that's what the other. Anyway.
Well, this is potentially a problem because I have just got a black screen.
Session.
Okay, if that's the case, then the game has crashed, and I'm going to have to jump out of the game, which means that the broadcast is going to come to an end.